Hey guys, ShadowRock here with more My Number 9 news. Some new information has come to light over the last couple days, so I figure I'd sit here and talk about it. Firstly, Concept has come out with a new trailer that, thankfully they didn't let Deep Silver get anywhere near. It showcases the DLC character Rei, her stage, boss battle, and how she plays when you unlock her as a playable character. And yes, it's a she. They also put out a new update talking a lot more in detail about Rei's character and backstory, as well as giving some insight behind the scenes of the development process. Now, I am aware that at this point, the entirety of the single player campaign in My Number 9 has been leaked in the form of a debug build dated June 2015. However, we will not be talking about or playing it as we wish to remain relatively spoiler free going into the full release that is just 10 days away at the time of this video. I am sure there are some of you out there that do not wish to have the entire game spoiled prior to release as well, so for now, I'll stick to what information has come out in an official capacity. Rei, also known as the Vermilion Destroyer, is a character shrouded in mystery. So much so that Concept doesn't want to give everything away just yet, but they did give us some information to entice us. She is My Number 0. In fact, the Japanese word Rei, R-E-I, is another way of saying zero. Rei is a prototype of Beck in the same vein that Proto Man was a prototype of Mega Man, and also has the ability to absorb Cell from robots. She has a corrupted appearance and a strange right arm used to eat the cells, of which she is also bothered by so much that she actually tries to hide that arm with her cloak. To further the Proto Man resemblance, Rei's life is draining away, and the only way she can survive is by constantly feeding off the cells that she absorbs. This tidbit will become important for her gameplay as well when we talk about it later. Concept goes on to say that she is capable of things that normally would not fit in the My Number 9 world. Rules don't apply as a good overall theme for Rei. The scenario begins when Dr. Sanda's labs suddenly comes under a hacking attack from Rei. It's only a matter of time before Rei pinpoints their location, so a direct assault is inevitable. Call does her best to fend off the hacking attempt, but fails. Thus, Beck is sent off to investigate and stop Rei directly. Now, Rei's stage takes place in one of the most common staples of video game history, the sewers. The developers even said they want to do a sewer level because they are fans of the arcade game of a certain 4 pizza-loving brothers. Cowabunga indeed. Anyways, in the sewer, Beck fights through until he finds a abandoned laboratory where he runs into Rei. She goes berserk, and naturally the boss battle begins. Now, like we said before, Rei is a prototype of Beck. So we see Rei uses the same dash techniques as Beck. Other attacks include firing lasers from her mouth and clawing at her foe at close range. In addition, we can tell that the boss fight with Rei will be fought in multiple phases, so it will surely be quite an epic battle. Let's move on to how she works when you play as her though. First of all, Rei is a much more fast-paced character than Beck is. She can rip right through basic enemies with a single dash without having to weaken them. Her standard attack is her claws that can pierce through guarded enemies. Although she is more powerful than Beck, that power comes at a cost because this is where her life draining away aspect comes into the gameplay. As you play through the stage, Rei's health will drop at the pace of a heartbeat. The amount of HP lost this way is indicated by a red marker in your health bar. To get that HP back, you simply need to defeat an enemy and absorb their cell. However, it can only satisfy her hunger for a short amount of time, and her HP drops quickly, which means constantly being on the attack is key in Rei's campaign. Also note that damage that you take by enemies will be gone permanently, and you won't be able to recover that by absorbing enemies. You must get health pickups as usual. Much like Beck, Rei also gains a new power from defeating a boss. But, unlike Beck, the only part of her appearance that changes is her right arm. We surmise in this way, she is akin to Zero from the Mega Man X series. What she gets are more like techniques rather than special weapons. Of course, that's just a theory. We'll just have to wait and see for ourselves when the full game comes out. Suffice to say though, I liked what I saw, and Teach Me thought it was pretty dope too. The last bit of news we got is some information that has come out of an interview between 4Gamer and Mr. Keiji Inafune. I'll go ahead and read you the highlights of that interview. Inafune had these things to say. We deeply apologize to the fans and backers for having taken much longer than expected. I learned again how difficult it can be to make a game. The reason of delay was not because we were short-handed, but due to how we were going to sell it and then buying more than we can chew after declaring what it will be released for all the hardware. But it was a good learning experience. What I thought about most while making this game was, I want to show the greatness of Japanese games. When listening to fans of Japanese games abroad, you often hear them say, Japanese games used to be great. I worked on this game in hopes of getting those people to say, this is good again. One more thing I'd like to say is that My Number 9 is a set of contents, meaning it's not just a game. We're also moving forward in an anime and live action film for it. Development for a sequel is already in our minds, and we all share the feeling of, we'll do it, even if it doesn't sell. The big news we got out of that is that the My Number 9 anime has been reconfirmed, and apparently they're also working on a live action movie. Wow. In addition, they've been saying it for a while now, but they do indeed seem dead set on making My Number 9 2. Now, to be fair, while I do agree they shouldn't be jumping the gun on making My Number 9 a big franchise before the first game is even out, the anime and movie will simply be licensed out, so they could still put their manpower into the gaming side of things, which is as it should be. And I for one actually welcome a My Number 9 sequel. Remember that the very first Mega Man game on the NES wasn't exactly a masterpiece either. The Mega Man series really hit its stride when Mega Man 2 became a thing and blew a lot of minds. I believe if done right, the same thing could happen to My Number 9. With the first game, they got their world, storyline, and gameplay basics down, and now with the sequel, they could put more time into improving the graphics, tying up the gameplay, and adding more cool stuff while keeping the feedback they got throughout the Kickstarter campaign and the first game in mind. That is my hope though, so as always, we'll just have to see. Hopefully they can find a publisher for the sequel game though, because Kickstarter at this point doesn't look like a good option for them at all. That's the end of my ramblings though. In addition to that interview, we also got some sweet looking art for My Number 9. The soundtrack for the game is also up on Amazon Japan for those of you who may live in Japan or just feel like importing. It contains 71 tracks across 2 CDs, which is honestly way more than I would have expected. Perhaps one of those CDs are remixed tracks? That would be awesome. Here's hoping this mighty soundtrack is what I get as a backer. Hint hint concept. Well, that's actually all I got for y'all today. What do you think of Ray so far? Would you watch an eventual My Number 9 anime and live action film? Do you have any hope for a My Number 9 sequel game? Let me know in the comments below. My Number 9 launches in the US and Asia on June 21st, and the rest of the world on June 24th. Please look forward to more news, our live streams, and our playthroughs as we approach the release. Thanks for watching, and rock on.